It will support like organization vulnerable countries like Uganda, which are really impacted by climate change. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, not alone. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, violation of social, political justice and waste to Uganda resulting in environmental injustices. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, the violation of social, polluting industries, waste, and polluting vehicles that result in environmental injustices. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, the violation of social polluting industries from their country and polluting vehicles which are brought to countries with weaker regulations like Uganda because they don't have strict laws against polluting industries and vehicles. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, I therefore say the violation of so Uganda in relation to climate injustices. Thanks.
Thank you very much for the honorable proposition with Honorable Mara Desmond Jefferson. Can we hear more from the third speaker from the opposition side? Opposition with Honorable Namuru Michelle.
Honorable judges of tonight's debate, proposers, opposers, ladies and gentlemen, resolve. This House believes that developed nations owe Uganda reparation for historical climate injustices. As the motion has been well defined by our first principal speaker, allow me go straight to my cases. But before that, allow me crush some of the misconceptions brought by my opponent. The honorable opposer came here and talked about technology transfer. But let me assure you that reparations might be difficult to implement effectively with concerns about corruption, obstruction, and ensuring benefits reach intended communities. Not only that, but also, one of them came here and talked about climate debt. But let me assure you that reparations could be misused by governments rather than benefiting vulnerable communities. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to go straight to my lines of argument. To begin with, sustainable development. Dear ladies and gentlemen, here you agree with me that developed nations are actively supporting Uganda's sustainable development goals, such as poverty reduction, healthcare, and education. Furthermore, sustainable development initiative promotes economic growth, social progress, and environmental protection in Uganda. That is why I disagree with today's motion. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to talk about lack of clear beneficiaries. Dear ladies and gentlemen, it may be difficult to determine who should receive reparations, as the effects of climate change are widespread and often indirect. That is why developed nations do not owe Uganda reparations for climate historical injustices. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, that is why I believe that we are going to win this debate. Furthermore, we shall win this debate because our first principal speaker defined the keywords, listed and crushed some of the points, elaborated more on one point. Not only that, but also our second principal speaker crushed and elaborated more on one point. That is why we deserve a win. With this, I would love to conclude by saying that this House believes that developed nations do not owe Uganda reparation for historical climate injustices. Honorable judges, I raise my case.
Thank you very much, the opposition whip, Honorable Namuru Michelle, for that deliberate argument. Can we have, and it's time for reply speeches, right? Can we have reply speeches? First with the opposition side, second of that speaker. Thank you.
Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, I am Honorable Amon from the Central Lasara Primary School. Resolve, this House believes that developed nations owe Uganda historical climate injustices, but I'm not here to debate but to offer reply speeches. We talk about global corporations. Not only that, but also we talk about climate adaptations. Furthermore, we talk about sustainable development. On top by saying that this House believes that developed nations do not owe Uganda reparation for historical climate injustices. Honorable judges, I rest my case.
Thank you very much, our dear debater. And reply speaker. Can we have reply speaker on the proposition side?
Shall we best engage my chairperson, judges, with the Honesty Party, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, the third speaker said, the third speaker said, from opposition side, said, developed nations are supporting Uganda. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, if they are supporting Uganda, why are we experiencing the same climate? Honorable judges, allow me to go straight. As a second speaker, I have to give this reply speech. Honorable judges, first and foremost, our first speaker explained the motion very well and she relates our points of argument. Please, honorable judges, bring us to our solution. Colonialism and resource extraction, unsustainable practices, climate policy, food tracking, and climate debt. And she related the points back to the motion, which our opponent do not relate their point. We know they crashed by they did not relate the point back to the motion. I, as the second speaker, I review the battle and acknowledge the point. Honorable judges, I related the point back to the motion. Our third speaker also reviewed and rebuttal. He also related the point back to the motion. So this gives us the reason to win the debate.
Thank you very much. All of both sides have been I want to tell you that it has been a wonderful debate. I kind of enjoyed it. Though not to the maximum, but I enjoyed it from my own content creators. But the problem was now with our roles, individual roles, and also team roles that we are supposed to play. I saw a challenge with team balance, and also I saw a challenge with kind of interpretation of the motion. We kind of moved away from the motion. I saw also a challenge in regards to bringing in new arguments into the debate. Then having so many points of arguments that we couldn't exhaust and explain them all well. But all in all, it was a good debate. I don't know whether my co-educators have something to say.
Thank you very much. It was a wonderful quarterfinals 1-1. I'm very happy that this has seen debate is coming to life. I've seen good arguments and good mature content coming in this debate. However, when you go to Rome, you are created by Romans. They don't want to debate and must go to the Romans of the debate. So is that use points, short of the speaker, short of the team balance, short of motion interpretation, you use points on that. Otherwise, we cannot release the results right here, right now. You will have to wonder for the rest of the days, and the results will be released as you kick off for the semifinals. You can shake hands as we have the next team coming. Why don't the motor will run a few things and the next team come. And the next speaker is Opposed Morning Primary School in the proposition and Queen of Matters Primary School in the opposition. And it starts as soon. Thank you.
So in that respect, I want to really invite the schools mentioned by the adjudicator to get themselves ready and appear before the panel for the process to continue. And I think there is something very special about today, because as a matter of fact, the judges are supposed to have a sex and make a decision based on what we've done. And I think I also want to relay this information to the participants that you need to take this with utmost interest and regard, because this is what is going to determine whether you get to the next level or you don't. Of course, you're aware that some people are already out of this competition. And I'm sure more schools are going to be knocked to concussion today, so that means you need to come prepared. Where the schools which are supposed to get on stage right now, please come, so that we do not waste our time. As a matter of fact, we are going to be doing the semi, and then the final is also going to be done today. Please, can we come quickly if you're listening to me? Judge Sir Opit.
It is Opit.
Okay.
Modern Primary School versus Queen of Matters.
Queen of Matters and Opit Modern Primary School. Please come, don't delay us, because we have no much time today, given that we are going to be handling both the semi and the final today. I think has something to talk about. Okay, then we get to the judges for further guidance on the same.
Thank you very much, my dear listeners. We've been made aware that Queen of Matters did not have these quarterfinals. And like I made mention, the bell was supposed to start in the past 3 minutes. However, they are in the opposition. Since they are in the opposition, we shall allow the first speaker from the proposition side to speak. If there is no reply, then that means they have failed to turn up. And that means Opit Modern goes straight to the semi-finals with the speech of the first speaker. So in that, before the first speaker starts, we don't have your list of names. Can we have your list of the speaker roles on either side? Developed nations, or Uganda, reparations for historical climate injustices. Allow me with a great honor, then we call upon the first speaker from the proposition side, the Honorable Atinamo Welsi. The floor is yours.
My maximum and minimum salutation go through the table of the high honorable adjudicators, the two competing parties, and not forgetting two ladies and gentlemen. I'm by the name of Atinamo Welsi from Opit Modern Primary School. Our today's status correlates. This house believes that developed nation, whole Uganda, reparation for historical climate injustices. High honorable adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to say that this motion is 100% correctly written. As the first speaker from the proposer side, allow me to perform the following task. Firstly, define the motion. Secondly, state the perimeter of the debate. Thirdly, state the status quo. And lastly, lay down our cases. Whereas the second speaker is coming to refute, rebuttal, reveal and explain the points, and the third speaker is coming to weigh, conclude and lead the debate. High honorable adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to explain the keywords used in the motion. Developed nation. Developed nations are countries with high level of economic development, technological advancement, high gross domestic products, and high standard of living. Example of these countries are Canada, United States of America, Germany, Australia, South Korea, and many others. Reparation. Reparation refers to the act of making compensation for past wrong or injustices. Historical climate injustices. Historical climate injustices refers to the disproportionate impacts of climate change on vulnerable population due to the historical action of wealthy nations. High honorable adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to state the status quo by stating that the impacts of climate change in Uganda is becoming long and diverse, and these problems have been attributed to different groups and communities, like developed nation, regional, national, and nation and citizen irresponsibility. High honorable adjudicators,
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to lay down my cases. Firstly, allow me to mention colonial legacy. Secondly, climate debt. And finally, historical responsibility. High honorable adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to explain my first point of argument. Colonial legacy. The colonial government exploited Uganda's resources and Uganda's economic growth that made it vulnerable to climate change. High honorable adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, for example, the British colonialists cleared forests for agriculture, leading to soil erosion. Not only that, they also grabbed Uganda's land from the local communities. They disrupt traditional, sustainable land place. They disrupt traditional practice and they disrupt traditional sustainable land use practices and leading to soil degradation. High honorable adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, not only that, they also introduce crops like cotton, tobacco, that require too much water and intensive use of pesticide, fertilizer, will lead to soil degradation. High honorable adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, not only that, they also set infrastructure like dams, roads, railways. This has disrupted natural water cycle and ecosystem. Therefore, all this.
So, in this debate, we wanted to adjudicate how the proposition side has properly interpreted the motion, and now that the opposition sides are missing, it's an automatic since she ably interpreted the motion, and this time around, we noted her argumentation was really rich in content. Therefore, Opate more than qualifies to semi-finals. Can we have the next round of the debate? Rooted Christian Primary School versus Favour of God Nursery and Primary School.
Already stated, we want to beseech you. I can see how the judges are so excited by how the team that is just departing the stage has been able to succinctly define and talk elaborately about the subject of discussion. Next, as has really been indicated by adjudicator, the chief adjudicator, Campus Guyana is Rooted Christian Primary School, who is going to be tussling it up with Favour of God Nursery and Primary School, wherein Favour of God Nursery and Primary School is going to be opposing the motion, while Rooted Christian is going to be the proponents in this episode. Please, may we have the schools as mentioned appear here and involved in this important debate. While you are listening to us out there, I think it is also important for you to pass your own judgment, but I think what is going to hold is what the official adjudicators are going to tell us. Today it is a bit unique, save with the Opit Modern and Queen of Matters. Here they are, honorable judges.
Thank you very much, our dear moderator and debaters. Names and speakers. Submit your names and the different roles that you want to say. We are just starting in a minute, in 30 seconds, not just a minute. Please submit your list. We are still going to debate on the same motion. Can I have the first speaker from the proposition side, the Prime Minister of the day, Honorable Lagoon Angel Faith? The floor is yours.
Thank you. I am by the name of Angel Faith, and our motion for today states this House believes that developed nation or Uganda reparations for historical climatic injustices. For this case, allow me to define a few keywords in the motion. Developed nations. Developed nations are nations which have strong economies, advanced technology, and high standard of living, or is to be under obligation to pay or repay in return for something received. Reparations. Reparations are the actions of making amends of wrong or for wrong that what someone has done by providing payment or other assistance to those who have been wronged. Historical climate injustices. Historical climatic injustices are approaches to climate actions that focus on the unequal impacts of change on the vulnerable populations due to the past activities of the developed nations. Having defined the keywords in the motion, ladies and gentlemen and the audience, I would like to enlighten this House about the past activities of the developed countries that have resulted to adverse consequences in climate injustices on Uganda, which is our parameter. These activities are industrialization, mining of resources, lumbering, technology advancement. These activities have further resulted into adverse consequences on Uganda, such as floods, extinction of natural resources, displacement of people, strong wind, air pollution, diseases, food insecurity, famine, and desertification. With all the above activities and their effects, allow me to read a short article to make my opponent understand. For the first time in more than 3 decades since its inception, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change (IPCC) mentioned the link between colonialism and climate change in the summary of policymakers section of the 6th IPCC report. Published in 2022, the report said, present development changes causing high vulnerability influenced by historical and ongoing patterns of iniquity, such as colonialism, especially for many indigenous people and local communities. It is very important to leading climate scientists have acknowledged that colonialism is a historic and ongoing driver of the climate crisis. For this case, ladies and gentlemen, this House believes that Uganda should file a case to ICC demanding for immediate compensation of the past activities of developed nations. Allow me explain more about the activities that developed nations have caused in Uganda today. Number 1, we have mining of natural resources. Number 2, we have industrialization. Number 3, we have desertification and deforestation. Number 4, we have displacement of people. And number 5, we have lumbering. Let me talk about mining. Mining is the extraction of minerals from the earth's surface. Developed countries such as Britain scrambled to acquire control of new territories in Uganda to gain access to land and extract such resources such as gold in Karimoja, copper in Kasese, by digging soil that is leading to loss of soil fertility, that is leading to soil erosion. These minerals were used to strengthen the power of this nation. However, Uganda as a nation was left deprived of its own resources and not developed by them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable. I was still enjoying and want to go. But anyway, can we have the Honorable Leader of the Opposition to make me enjoy and want more? Honorable Ayaka Masi. The floor is yours.
Thank you, the judges, the 2 competing parties. Thank you, the judges, the 2 competing parties, the audience, and the listeners at large. I am Honorable Ayaka Kamasi Nabasa from Favour God Nursery and Primary School. We have come here to oppose a motion which reads, developed nations owe Uganda reparations for historical climate injustices. Judges, as being the first speaker of opposition side, my roles are to define the motion, state the parameter, state the status quo, list the roles of the second and the third speaker, and list our points of argument. Judges, Before I continue with what I was doing, allow me to correct the first speaker on the proposition side. The word is not pronounced perimeter, but it is parameter. And the other word is also not pronounced as crisis, but crisis. Okay. Our second speaker will come to refute, rebuild, and rebuttal. Our third speaker is going to come. She will rebuild, rebuttal, and weigh the debate. Judges, as being the first speaker, allow me to define the motion by tackling some of the keywords. Developed nations. Developed nations are countries considered rich and able to meet their financial needs. Reparations. This refers to the compensation made for the wrong done. Historical climate injustices. This refers to the disproportionate impacts that the early colonialists had on global climate and the consequences on the community. But judges, we as team opposition don't believe this motion. We believe that developed nations do not owe Uganda reparations for historical climate injustices. Judges, here our parameter is our country, Uganda. And before I continue, allow me to state the status quo of our country. Currently, as we speak, Ugandans are doing a number of things which are contributing a lot to the climate changes. For example, deforestation, swamp drainage, bush burning, and overcultivation. These activities are the ones leading to climate changes. So we should work very hard to avoid the above activities if we need to modify our climate. To us as a developing country, Uganda should not be paid because it is unfair for the British to pay us. Britain needs that money to develop their country. Because if they are to pay us this reparation, they will lose some money which will be used to build hospitals, construct roads, and plan for some of the parts of the country. So it is not fair. Furthermore, we as team opposition are going to talk on some points. So judges, allow me to list our points of argument. We as team opposition are going to talk on historical context. Not only that, but we as team opposition are also going to talk on economic implications. We are also going to talk on complexity of the issue. Not only that, but we as team opposition are also going to talk on shared responsibility. So judges, allow me to pick one of these points of argument and elaborate on economic implications. Here, economic implications means giving money in form of reparation will take away a lot of money from them. By them, I mean Britain, who colonized Uganda. Because if they give us this money, it will take away some of the money that they would use for planning for their country. This money that they would give in form of reparation would be used for doing other things. As I mentioned, it would be used for building hospitals, constructing roads, planning for some parts of the country, and many others. Implementing this system of reparations could have an economic implication for developed nations. It could divert resources for domestic priorities and hinder economic implications. Judges, allow me to pardon myself. It would divert resources for domestic priorities and hinder economic growth. Judges, because of time factor, allow me to stop here. Our second speaker is going to come and elaborate more on shared responsibility and complexity of the issue. I beg to stop here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Leader of Opposition. Ruth.
My name is Chisaja Ruth, a pupil of Richard Christian Primary School, and I'm here to propose the motion that states, this House believes that developed nations owe Uganda reparations for historical climatic injustices. They talked about economic implications, and they say that Britain needs that money to develop their country. But we say that they have robbed us of our own economy, and we need that money so that we can develop our nation. Our first speaker